from California Insider. California bill to ban locally adopted voter ID requirements advances. And shout out to the California Insider. I'm constantly screaming about how terrible the media is, and they are, but this one's pretty good. I think it's loosely affiliated with Epoch Times or Epic Times or whatever, spearheaded by that guy, Simayak. I don't know. I'm sure I'm absolutely butchering his name, but he does great reports, great YouTube videos, so keep up the good work. Trying to save California, but my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
The algorithm is a monster. It helps me out a lot and it costs you nothing. But if you want to help me even more and spend a little bit of money, go ahead and buy my book, New York City 2020 Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description. So as we can see, they are freaking out and they are trying to stop counties in California from requiring voter ID. It says, a California bill to ban local governments from setting their own voter ID requirements is now headed to the Senate floor after passing in 2 Senate committees. So these are the thugs. This is the regime. This is the machine hard at work. And it was only a couple days ago where I took a look at this story from the Oakland side, or the soggy side, as some might call it. Who's funding the recall campaign against Oakland Mayor Shang Tao? How is this happening? Who's trying to stop our control regime? And the best part about this article is that it actually says it's illegal, right? Here it is, right here. It's illegal for anyone to give contributions to a political campaign like a recall anonymously. How dare they? But when certain places, even in California, say you need to prove who you are to vote, they say, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to ban that. I mean, this is really dystopian, right? And I realize the term is far overused, but I can't think of a better way to describe it. Introduced by Senator Dave Min, Senate Bill 1174 proposes to ban local governments such as Huntington Beach, where voters recently approved its city council could impose such an identification requirement from enacting such, and makes clear the state has exclusive jurisdiction when it comes to the voter verification process, according to a May 1st press release from the senator. So could it be any more clear that they are quite literally trying to replace people with undocumented asylum seekers and make it illegal for you to ask for them to show ID to vote, but then also make it illegal for you to try to recall a corrupt politician, right? I mean, this is actually very hard work. You almost have to applaud this level of corruption. It's just through the roof. The Democrat from Irvine said, despite zero evidence, here we go. There is evidence, right? I don't know about Huntington Beach specifically, but there is quite literally loads of evidence of this, this voting scam that they say, it wasn't enough, right? Obviously, greaseball scumbag bang your wife Governor Gavin Newsom, he won the recall fair and square, even though a guy was sleeping in his car outside of a 7-Eleven in Southern California with a bunch of mail-in ballots and pills and guns and stuff.
Yeah, Mike and Jared, many wondering tonight, so was it a voter fraud scheme or something else? Investigators are now trying to determine why it is that more than 300 recall ballots were found inside a man's car at this 7-Eleven in Torrance. More than 300 mail-in ballots for the governor's recall race were found inside a car parked at this Torrance 7-Eleven with a man sleeping inside of it.
Right, that happened, but it just wasn't. That's not enough, right? That's not enough to prove anything. That's just a little bit. Yeah, well, because there's probably thousands of other guys sleeping in cars around the state that didn't get caught, and that would make it enough. I mean, it's just.
I'm losing my patience. God, you.
Double plea.
Fuck! You're kidding!
Judge.
Fuck!
All right. Despite zero evidence of voter fraud, Huntington Beach put such an issue before voters, and his bill would put to rest any notion that cities can meddle with state voter protections, such as requiring voters to show identification when voting in person. So, You don't have to show ID to vote, but you would have to show ID to do almost everything else. I mean, try renting a house or an apartment in California. You think you're going to do that without an ID? Right? I mean, it just doesn't make it. It makes sense if you understand the goal is to just destroy everything by force. The Huntington Beach ballot measure passed with a majority vote and rewrites the city's charter to allow voter ID requirements in city elections starting in 2026. But if SB 1174 passes, the city won't be able to implement the change, according to the press release. And it's also very strange. It's like now we're voting on how to vote. Okay. Huntington Beach conservative majority city council voted to put the issue on its local March ballot, despite repeated warnings from state law enforcement and election leaders. Yeah, but just ignore them. Right? I mean, they're like, who, you guys hate the cops? Now, okay, Huntington Beach is conservative, but when these weirdo cronies, when these weirdo political thugs try to stop you and claim that everything's illegal and that's a crime and this is a crime, even though their corruption is through the roof, just ignore them. Right? I mean, we are at the point where you have to call their bluff. Okay? Despite repeated warnings from state law enforcement and election leaders. After the measure passed, State Attorney General Rob Bonta and Secretary of State Shirley N. Weber, California's chief elections official, announced a lawsuit against the city during a news conference last month. So you're going to allow the people that just hopped over the border and crept into in San Diego, you are going to allow them to vote, or you are the criminal. I mean, this is insane. I mean, I guess it's not insane. I guess it's par for the course at this point. In response, city officials contend Mr. Min's bill conflicts with the state's lawsuit because if such is already illegal, then why write pass legislation to make it so? City Attorney Michael Gates said the city's voter-approved measure is in line with California law and is wanted by a majority of residents. The people of Huntington Beach, Huntington, I don't know, have made their voices clear on the issue. He said in a statement on the issue last month. He said the California Constitution, which I mean, I can't even believe exists at this point, but the California Constitution provides charter cities like Huntington Beach with the authority to implement such measures for local elections. Mr. Min, in response, says his bill does not illustrate that Huntington Beach's measure is illegal, but only that it is not yet decided and therefore ambiguous. Okay, he's trying to muddy the waters there. What the hell is this guy talking about? The last thing we need right now, and here we go, the last thing we need right now when Donald Trump is falsely attacking the legitimacy of the 2020. They keep crying about this, and they're saying that Trump's crying about it, but if you, right, they're all over the place, the AG out in Arizona, like, this is a crime. I'm indicting 11 people. They didn't do anything, right? You're saying their crime was not believing the result. Okay, fine. You don't have to like it, but that doesn't make it a crime. And since you won, you could just say, we won fair and square. What the hell are you talking about? Kick rocks. But they won't. They keep crying about it nonstop. Okay. The last thing we need right now, when Donald Trump is falsely attacking the legitimacy of the 2020 election results, is 100 different cities in California imposing 100 different sets of election requirements to try to get featured on Fox News. Okay, this guy has got terminal TDS, and you do need to require some sort of identification. Like, what is Huntington Beach trying to make sure that people show ID to vote have anything to do with Donald Trump, right? Maybe I missed the point. And here's that's Shirley Weber. That's her. And Rob Bonta. Yeah, you're in trouble. According to Mr. Min, Orange County's district attorney earlier this year found no evidence of election fraud in Huntington Beach or elsewhere in that city that officials haven't provided. Okay, so if you guys aren't doing it, then you're going to be just fine with these voter ID laws. If there are problems with voting in Huntington Beach, then they should present evidence of those problems to the state. Or you can also be sure that there will be no problems. It does sound, right? Am I tripping? It does sound like you want to make sure that there will be problems. You want to muddy the waters. You want to create the chaos so you can get your way and all of these weird no-show jobs and bureaucrats and just disgusting nonsense to destroy what is even left of the entire state. I'm absolutely losing my mind here. These people want nothing more than complete and total control, and they will destroy everything. And there's a lot of these weirdo NGOs and nonprofits, and they just filter money. They don't even have to show receipts a lot of the times. I'm not super privy to that, but one of my friends did tell me that there's a loophole in San Francisco, so not Huntington Beach, where you can basically set up a business or a not-for-profit or something that basically, oh, well, we're a homeless outreach program or something, a not-for-profit, and then you don't have to show receipts. You don't have to show anything. And then you wonder why everything is going to shit. But according to Huntington Beach Mayor Gracie Vandermark, residents have said they would feel more secure with having IDs checked at in-person voting polls. We put it out there on the ballot. They said we want this, and the state is doing everything within their power to stop us from honoring what the voters have been asking for, she told the Epoch Times in a recent interview. She said, when it comes to in-person voting, with no cameras inside, polling locations, anyone could place a vote for another, and there would be no way of catching wrongdoers. Yeah, I mean, it's not rocket science, right? You know what the hell, like, when you are trying to ban voter ID in the same state that is also curious about who is behind a recall effort, it raises a lot of red flags. When I went to vote, I walked in, they asked me for my name, they asked me for my address, and that was it. My neighbor could have gone in and said, I'm Gracie Vandermark, this is my address, and she would have been given my ballot. California is one of 15 states that doesn't ask for photo ID at the ballot box, which state leaders say isn't needed as voter identity is confirmed during registration. Okay. Ballot tracking, mandatory recounts, and signature verification checks are also used in protecting against voter fraud, according to lawmakers. Yeah, well, there's no lawmakers, bro. There are no more adults in the room. And just so we're crystal clear, abundantly clear, in this article from the Oakland side, or the soggy side, as they're affectionately known, who's funding the recall campaign against Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao? They've raised nearly $275,000, but they also want you to know it is illegal. Where is it? It's illegal for anyone to give contributions to a political campaign like a recall anonymously. But it's also illegal to require voter ID in Southern California, apparently.